There will always be people who say that these things cannot be done. I remember very vividly in 2013, if you looked at what we were hearing day after day in 2013, you would have imagined it would have been impossible to end the broken and unconstitutional policy of stop and frisk.
A few years later.
New tonight, at least 2 more attacks in the transit system today, one of them sending a man to the hospital.
It comes as Mayor Adams says riders should expect more random bag checks, a security measure first instituted nearly 2 decades ago.
We were sold a bill of goods. We were lied to every day, being told that if we ended that policy, there would be crime and chaos everywhere. And thank God most of us didn't listen to that hype. We changed something unjust and we became a fairer city, and guess what? We became a safer city at the same time. Because fairness and safety have to walk hand in hand.
A few years later.
First at 5, a shocker on the subway. A group of people attacked by a stranger with fire.
People said that if we reduced incarceration and ended the era of mass incarceration, we would be endangered. It was the other way around, my friends. We now have fewer people in our jails than any time since World War II. And we are safer for it and better for it.
A few years later.
More subway violence overnight. This time a man was slashed on an A train in Manhattan. This is the 3rd attack in the last few days.
Safer for it and better for it.
A few years later.
At 11 o'clock, terrifying new video of passengers on a subway in Brooklyn, frightened for their lives as 2 men fight and one of them shoots the other in the head.
And we are safer for it and better for it.
A few years later.
This video shows the assault on the station agent. She was walking out of the platform trying to wake a sleeping man under a bench. He came out swinging, fracturing her face. You can see commuters there restraining him until police made the arrest. This is, of course, just one of a number of recent violent attacks on the subway. Yesterday at the 170th Street and Jerome Avenue station in the Bronx, another MTA train operator was smashed over the head with a glass bottle. Last week, a subway conductor was slashed in the neck. Since the start of the year, there have been 156 subway crimes reported in Manhattan. Numbers are also high in Brooklyn, where there have been 93 crimes reported.
And we are safer for it and better for it.
A few years later.
We got word of yet another violent attack on the subway, this one on a northbound 2 train. A man just getting off that train in the Bronx was stabbed in the hand. After intervening, he says he saw 2 men harassing a woman, and when he intervened, he was stabbed in the hand. Those 2 suspects are still on the loose this morning, that man being treated for his injuries at the hospital.
And we are safer for it and better for it.
A few years later.
To other news now, a woman had to have both of her feet amputated, police sources say, after she was pushed onto the subway tracks by her boyfriend and then struck by a train in Lower Manhattan. And tonight, the suspect is still not in custody. The 29-year-old woman was hit by a number 3 train at the Fulton Street subway station this morning, somehow managed to survive. She is now in stable condition at Bellevue Hospital.
People said that if we reduced incarceration and ended the era of mass incarceration, we would be endangered. It was the other way around, my friends. We now have fewer people in our jails than any time since World War II. And we are safer for it and better for it.